Hi friends, this is Madhavi from KingMakers IAS Academy with you for the essay paper discussion. The topic for today is the sixth topic and this is the second topic in section B, that is the quote of Abraham Lincoln, that is nearly all men can stand adversity but to test the character give him power. Friends, this is a quote-based philosophy. So it's a philosophical question. Usually the UPSC is known for asking lots of philosophical questions. And Abraham Lincoln is one of the favorite for UPSC because number of his quotes has been asked there in the previous years. So this question about character. So character is the core of this particular quote, you should know. And basically they are telling that the person character will be tested based on power. This is what the Abraham Lincoln is trying to say. But yes, we will be starting this essay in varied format. But to understand that why this question has been asked, UPSC is telling that you have to give the relevance of this particular quote and you have to give arguments substantiating the way why this Abraham Lincoln have said this quote. And you can also argue in the other way, that is, the character need not be tested by the power, but it can be tested by the adversity also. Adversity here means difficult circumstances or disaster or any hardships or any such difficult circumstances. Adversity means that. So here, Abraham Lincoln's quote is as such asked in the UPSC. But the purpose of asking is what should be addressed in the essay, and you should bring the relevance of this particular quote in the essay. You have to say that there are people whose character has been tested by giving them power, and there are people whose power or whose character has been tested even with the power, that is they are doing good with the power, they're not doing good with the power. So this is how you have to test. You have to give arguments for this particular essay. And after that, yes, you have to give some alternative perspectives saying that even adversity, that is difficult circumstances, also plays a role in testing the character of the person. So this is how you will be writing the essay. But yes, essay will start with an introduction, then you have to write a body, then you have to conclude, and this has to span around for 1200 words. So you need points, you need examples, you need points, you need examples. Like this, the flow of the essay should go. So like this, when the flow of the essay should go, you have to bring dimensions, you have to bring examples from different fields, you have to bring examples on both the perspective, that is positive and negative. You have to decode the particular topic, and you have to bring the alternative perspectives. You can bring a counter argument saying no, Abraham Lincoln is wrong in saying only the power will test the character. It is also the adversity will also test the character. So this is how you have to decode this essay. So here, when you are reading this particular quote, what comes to your mind is basically what is Abraham Lincoln trying to say? He is trying to say that power will test your character and it is not adversity. So here he says that nearly all man can stand adversity, but to test the character, give him power. To my perspective, in the first statement itself, I'm not satisfied with what Lincoln says, because all men cannot stand adversity. That is the true thing. But let's not discuss about that now itself. Let's talk about what Lincoln is saying, and we will substantiate in the perspective that Lincoln is saying that yes, power will test the character. But towards the end, we will also say adversity also matters, and adversity also tests the man's character. So like this, we will be doing it. And friends, he is saying men because men is a very neutral term. Let's talk humans in particular. Let's not talk about men or women in gender biased perspective. Let's talk about humans. Though this quote is saying men, let's put it as humans instead of saying men. And let's talk about he or she in the writing of your essay, because let's make it very gender neutral. That's very important. So let's start this with the outline. So we will be giving an introduction. We'll be thinking about the conclusion. We will be putting all the content here, now I'm trying to brainstorm. So I'll take my rough pages in the answer booklet that I get. I'll be turning to the last pages, which will be the rough pages. I'll be starting to brainstorm after choosing which essay I have to write. So I've chosen this essay to write now. So I'll be starting to brainstorm. Now I'll be thinking about the introduction. I'll be drafting the statement, or I'll just pick up the points that I can frame into an introduction. Then I'll be brainstorming the points. I'll be doing the body, and also I'll be brainstorming the points I will be writing as a conclusion. So one technique is you can brainstorm introduction and conclusion simultaneously, and then you can brainstorm on the body. Now thinking about writing an essay without any side headings, because this essay need not have any side headings, because most of the philosophical essays will tend you to not write any side headings. It's okay to go with that, but there are certain philosophical essays, or there are certain subject-based essays which requires you to write side headings. Yes, you can write side headings. Even in the subject-based essays, you need not write any side headings also. But here I have refrained myself from not writing any side headings for this. But I have written this outline just to tell you that this is my pattern of writing the essay. That is, I am writing first part of my essay will be about how power will test the character, and in the next part of the essay I will talk about how adversity is also the test of character. So this is how I be framing my essay. So let's pull on, and to remember that here you can bring dimensions. Friends, here it is talking about power. The power in terms of political power, in terms of social power, in terms of economic power, in terms of media power, in terms of corporate power, in terms of influencing power, the power that is had with the politicians, the power with the celebrities, like the media celebrities, or now there are lots of social influencers. There are a lot of actors and actresses having lots of power. Even when during the Jallikattu, we wanted to bring lots of celebrities to persuade the crowd and tell them not to protest. Let's take it into a legal route. So like this, we are bringing Raghava Lawrence or Rajinikanth to tell something about, to tell something to the society, or tell something to persuade somebody. So there are requirement of such power, like media power, like celebrities power, politicians power. So these powers can be divided, and this division will give you lots of points to write this particular essay and bring lots of examples to substantiate your arguments for this essay. So this is how you will be framing this essay. Let's go to the introduction first. So coming to the introduction, there are various methods of writing introduction for this particular essay. There are very simple ways of writing essays, but let's pull all the different dimensions or all the different methods of writing the introduction for this essay. So like I can start with talking about Abraham Lincoln itself in the introduction. If at all I know Abraham Lincoln is the one who wrote this quote. If at all, if I don't know whether this quote is written by Abraham Lincoln or whomever it is, now I will start with talking about the character, because character is the core of this essay. So let's talk about what is character and how character is very important for a person, or how character is determined. So that is how I will start talking about character, and now I will link this character to the core of this quote, that is whether character will be determined by the power or it is determined by the adversity. So now I am starting with character and I am linking it with the quote saying whether power is testing this character or adversity is testing this character. This is how I'll start my introduction. Or I can start with power and talk about adversity and define both the terms, and now boil down to the fact that these two things are determining the character. Now I am doing the reverse engineering. So I'm talking about power and adversity, and then telling, or I am linking that to the character instead of linking the character to the power and adversity. This is another way of introducing this particular essay. And you can also start with a story or anecdote or whatever it is, telling how power is a test of character, or how the character was tested by the power, whatever it is, or how power was tested by the adversity, or character was tested by the power or adversity. Any story or anecdote that you wanted to give, like politicians, he was giving certain statements, he will bring prosperity and this and that, but after gaining power, he was not bringing this. So power is testing his character, that he was not holding his integrity. He was not holding his words. He was not walking his talk. He was not doing what he was promising. So like this, you can talk about some politician who has failed to keep up his promise. Yes, you have to. You can talk about that, or you can talk about any person who turned a dictator after gaining power. So like this, or they would have stood from the scratch, like the Napoleon, or any persons who rised from very small, very humble background, but he, after getting the power, he turned to be a dictator or an autocratic, or turned to be a very bad person. Like this, you can start your story or start with an anecdote. So like this, yes, you can start your introduction. So this is how I will start my introduction. Any way you can follow, and it has to be in 2 paragraphs or 200 words, or even in 1 paragraph, the whole length of word. It should be at least 1.5 sides. That's all. One side and the next side, you can have this introduction, but not more than that. Don't write introduction to a too much length that you are losing the space for writing your body. So that is very important. And then coming to this body, I'm talking about how power is helping to test the character. And what is power? Basically, I'll decode what is power, and now I will decode how it is testing the character, and now I'll give the arguments for how people with power has done something good and people with power has not done good. So that is telling their character. The people who are doing good is good, and the people who are doing bad is bad. So this is how I will start my essay in the body. So power is giving the ability to do anything. It is testing the person's ability or to do anything. And when he is doing something wrong, he's telling that his intention, his character, it is bad. And even his ethics is, he is immoral, or he is not ethical. So this is how it is doing. And it is giving an elevation of human ego. It is feeding his ego. That is, yes, he can do anything. He is not having any limits. He is not bounded by anything. He is not being dictated by anyone. He is having the authority. He is feeding his ego. He is being tempted. Yes, the temptations are there. The temptations are there to do something which is bringing him something good rather than bringing something good for the others. So this is, the power is giving temptations. The power is giving the elevation of human ego. Even it is bringing conflict of interest, whether to go by his personal interest, whether to accumulate wealth, or whether to satisfy the public interest and provide them welfare. This is how with the power, he is having this conflict of interest, whether to use his power to provide a job for his own wife, or provide a loan for his own wife, or provide a loan for one who is vulnerable, who is the one who should be given. So like this, there is a conflict of interest. There is a moral, and to be very frank, yes, power will degrade the morality. Because it is giving power, it is giving some some ability to something which you can do, even if it is not possible otherwise. It is helping us to elevate the human ego. It is the ability of the power to provide food for your ego, provide food for your own self-interest, provide food for your own personal interest. That is helping us, that is helping him to degrade his morality. Yes, power corrupts absolutely. That quote you know, right? The power corrupts and the absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is how you will be framing this body. And yes, you can give the example from Angela Merkel, Nelson Mandela as a positive example, and the negative example holds as Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is from Sri Lanka. He was corrupt, and he was also involved in the war crimes. And Robert Mugabe, he is from Zimbabwe, who is an autocratic ruler. And Julius Caesar, you know, this et tu brute. Like this, there was a Shakespeare story about Julius Caesar, where he turns into a person who is unethical, who is accumulating wealth after getting the power. So only he'll be killed by his own friends. So like this, Julius Caesar you can quote, even Napoleon or Stalin, even Putin you can quote. But the problem is quoting Ranil Wickremesinghe or Putin, who is very contemporary leaders, is very questionable. unless otherwise it is not hurting the sentiments of the writer, sorry, the examiner who is correcting your paper. So it's better not to go with this contemporary leaders who have done something wrong, so even if it is from other countries. So I would tell you, don't ever quote contemporary leaders who is negative in the India, but it is better and a safer condition that you don't quote any person who is contemporary from anywhere who is negative in the perspective. So it is better not to quote. There are people, I was correcting essay, they were quoting Pooja Ketkar, they were quoting lots of people who are currently in the controversy, currently in the case currently in the court. So please do never ever quote them. It is better not to quote them because their things are not proven. So, and it can hurt the sentiments of any persons who is correcting your paper. So it is better not to go with this Ranil Wickramasinghe or Putin. But here I have mentioned, in order to convey you this message, that don't ever quote contemporary world leaders or contemporary leaders of India who is in the negative side. That is better. So this is like this you can talk about how power is having the problem. And yes, you can widen this power. Instead of quoting only the rulers who is having the political power, you can also talk about the people who is having the social power. Like there are people who are using this influence or social influence not to give any good message, but rather going with the bad message or going with some controversies. Like even you can talk about this Kalakshetra Foundation or the Wrestlers Foundation, where they are using this power to harass or certain things they are doing in this people. So like this, there are certain things where the social power or the political power or even the media power or the economic power or the corporate power is degrading their morality and helping them do something very wrong. And even there are people who are doing something very good using this media power. Like Rajini said, he will not smoke, he's quit smoking after one good movie wherein he was trying to do some stunt with this cigarette. So like this, there are people who's giving a very good message about not smoking, not drinking. Like this, there are people who are using their influence, who are using their power to tell and convey a good message to the audience. So like this, yes, you can bring all these people on different field to give an example. And then you also, in the body itself, talk about how adversity, which is basically talking about any difficult circumstances, the situation in where you are put in some hardships or difficult circumstances or any disasters where the resources are very constrained. The resources are very constrained. Say for example, you are there in the flight and there is only two parachutes and you have to, there are 3 people in the row. Like this, there are hardships that are given to you and you have to save the Prime Minister or the President in the place, and you have only one, one parachute. So whether you will save your life or the President's life. Like this, there are adversities that are happening to you. Like COVID time, yes, there was a very much an adversity during the war, during the independence time. Yes, there were a lot of times of adversity. So these examples you can bring, and yes, you can talk about how the person's character was tested during those times. Like I was just giving a very simple example, like Sonu Sood, who was working during this COVID time. Yes, it is a time of adversity. Yes, there are people who was safely in their houses. But this person who is Sonu Sood, or any example that you wanted to give, who was working during the disaster time, doing something something for the migrants who were affected during this COVID time. So like this, even there is a choice of them sitting safely in their house, but they took the chance of helping others. So this is how you have to quote how adversity is also the test of character. It will bring humanity, it is bringing empathy, and it is also telling how you are resilient to overcome the adversity. Resilient means how we are able to overcome the adversity is what? Resilience. So preventing or you are able to overcome this adversity is what resilience means. So you are telling how adversity is testing the character, giving a positive example of how Sonu Sood was helping in this COVID time, or Durga Shakti Nagpal, who was able to fight against the mining mafia. She is an IAS officer. There are lots of IAS officers, like you can also talk about Satyendra Dubey, who was a whistleblower. He's an IAS officer. Please search about him. He's an IAS officer who whistleblowed. So like this, people are being tested. Their character has been good during the times of adversity. So like this, you can tell. And there are people who are self-centric and selfish. Even there are countries which are only focusing on their national interests, and they are affecting the people of other countries. So like the Russia or the case of USA, wherein the superpowers are not using their power to help others, rather they are using the time of war to do something very much in their own self-interest or in their national interest, to increase their economic power, to increase their defense revenues. Like they are supplying defense equipments, and they are able to get revenues out of it. So like this, these people with superpower are not using these power for a right cause, but for the wrong cause. Even they are helping terrorists, and they are doing some proxy wars. So like this, yes, you can talk about how adversity is also a test of character, where in the times of war, these superpower are not using the power to stop the war, but to fuel the war and to gain the revenue from the defense, supplying defense for them. So like this, you can talk in this body, and then concluding thereby. Again, you should recall why Abraham Lincoln brought this quote. Abraham is saying that the power is testing the character just because you have to recruit the right person. Because if you recruit the wrong person and you give him the power, you will ruin the institution, you will ruin the world, you will ruin the country or the city, whatever it is. If the mayor of the city is wrong, if the MPs of the country is wrong, yes, the whole system will start degrading. So this is why Abraham said this quote. So you have to recall this, and yes, you have to say some way forward, or you can talk about how power will test the character, and it is important that you have to give this power to the right person in the future. And you can also bring the quote of one important quote which was asked in the previous year of UPSC itself. I have written this quote here: "You may have the right to do. You must do what is right to do." So this is actually a quote which was asked in the UPSC previous year questions. So I have brought the same quote to highlight the importance of doing the right thing. So you may have the right to do anything, but you should do the right thing. Because you should do the ethical thing, you should do the moral thing, you should do what is right for everyone, what is right for you as well as everyone. So that is how I would end this particular essay. So yes, you have to talk about the intention of this quote, and you have to talk about how character will stay strong. And you also have to connect with adversity also. The character will be staying strong during the times of adversity, and the adversity will test his character, and he has to stand to his character or stand to his conscience. Conscience means the inner voice. The conscience means your inner moral compass. So this is how you have to talk about. So adversity, yes. This adversity as well as power, you should connect it with the character, and thereby end this particular essay telling that the right person should be powerful, and this power should, though power is neutral, the power has the capacity to degrade the person into a immoral person, because the person has the ability to do anything. So yes, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So like this, yes, you can bring this thing, and power comes with responsibility. So this responsibility can be handled only by the person with the right character. So this person with the right character has to be chosen, and this has to be done through a proper socialization, proper education, proper ethical training, and the proper conscience building. So like this, you have to bring this thing. So ethical person should be powerful is what I will end this essay to. So like this, you can have a varied perspective. You can add up any points that you want. If you have any queries, or if you have any additional points that you wanted to add to this essay, please comment in the comment box below. Thank you for the same. We will meet for the next super duper essay topic very soon. Thank you.